Baseball starts tomorrow. I'm very excited. This is the most excited I've been for opening day in a long time. So I'm feeling that there's a good chance that I sort of I stay strong this year when it comes to watching it. It also helps that playback.tv/slightly biased. Playback hasn't confirmed this, but this is a good hint that baseball will be something that we can watch on playback this year. Mario Baseball starts tomorrow, hopefully, on Nintendo Direct. Wait, what? Mario Baseball might be dropping another game? If Sally Bias, what the fuck is this chat? If Sally Bias is not drinking much water during his streams, it's something to be mindful of for his overall well-being, but a brain aneurysm wouldn't be a direct consequence of that behavior. Thank you for asking ChatGPT about me suffering a brain aneurysm. It's a little scary. Let me take a drink of water. I would love a new Mario Baseball. Would love it. Well, I'm not sure unless they've announced it. I'm sure they'd have to announce it very soon that it'll be available right away. Maybe it's something that's available throughout the season, later in the season, but I'm excited about it. So anyways, I've done some research. I know the players. I know some of the prospects. I know some of the injuries. I'm not an expert. This is a pure casual perspective here, but I have my predictions for the upcoming season. I'm so excited. I have some, some pretty out there bold ones. MLB last season on ESPN, and that's a lot of respect gained for MLB for, strong arming ESPN. I love that for them. That makes me incredibly happy for them. Genuinely good for them. They deserve it. Fuck ESPN. Also, I want to say, this isn't my opening day, right? The opening day in Japan, I think, is the dumbest shit in the world. No offense to Japan. It has nothing to do with Japan. Would love to go. Would love to visit. It's on my number one on my list of places I want to visit. Japan, really just a trip to Asia in general. Never been. Would love to go. Love to visit Japan. Would love to visit Thailand. Would love to visit Korea. Would love to visit China. China is very high up there as well. So anyways, it's just the fact that really we're doing opening day, a week before the real opening day at 4 a.m. I think it's the dumbest shit in the world. So anyways, tomorrow is the real one. Tomorrow is the real opening day, and I have my predictions across the entire league. So let's not waste any time. We're starting the American League. Wide open. I almost said conference. Wide open league this year. Wide open league. There doesn't seem to be a top dog the way that there is in the National League. Now, just looking at these teams, right, doing some projections, running a bunch of stuff through my database that I've created myself, the American League seems, a level below the National League. It does seem like top 3, top 4, top 5 teams in baseball might be in the National League, which is interesting. So the American League feels open. I mean, there's arguments to be made for a lot of these teams. And the beautiful thing about baseball is anybody can win at the end of the day. Let's start in the American League East. And I want to know y'all's thoughts as well. Any baseball heads in the chat, seam heads in the chat, please, feel free to chime in. The American League East, winning it, I have the Baltimore Orioles. They are coming off of an interesting season. I like their team. I'm a little bit worried about some of the stuff going on. Gunnar Henderson starting the season on the IL is a little bit scary to me, but it sounds like he'll be okay in the long term. Grayson Rodriguez starting the season on the IL. Don't love that, obviously. They lose Corbin Burns. Don't love that, obviously. But I still really like their team. They lost Anthony Santander. But, they went out and they got Tyler O'Neill, who I like quite a bit, just based off of him having a really good MLB The Show card a few years ago. And also, Adley Rutschman, who I love, right? I was a catcher growing up, played catcher. I always have love for my catchers. I love Adley Rutschman. I think he's a perfect quintessential catcher, right? Switch hitter, incredible defensively, a lot of pop in the bat. Terrible second half of the season. For him. He had a great spring training. Jackson Holiday had a great spring training. They got a lot of good prospects as well in their system. I think Baltimore is going to win it. I like their team quite a bit this year. And I think maybe they exercise some demons in the playoffs because they've gotten swept 2 years in a row. I think they exercise some demons. I have the Red Sox finishing second. They've made a lot of moves, and I'm a big believer, right? Baseball, it feels like this happens quite a bit, and there's historical examples. I think about the Marlins. What year is that? Like 2011, when the Marlins went fucking crazy in free agency and brought in Jose Reyes and Mark Burley, Heath Bell. Did they bring him in? And they were incredibly disappointing. And what was the year where the Padres did something similar? The Padres brought in, who do they bring in? Matt Kemp. Who else? I'm trying to remember who the Padres spent crazy on that one year, and then they were disappointing. But it does feel like when teams kind of go for it, it feels like they get rewarded, right? 2015. Yeah, okay. 2015 sounds more right than what I said. Kimbrel. Yeah, they went and got Craig Kimbrel. Hosmer. Yeah. Yikes. But Boston, I like what they did. They already had a good young core in place, right? You've got Devers. You've got Duran. Sorry, I just think of Jalen Duran. You've got Duran. You've got some interesting young pitchers on your staff. You go out and you get Alex Bregman, who I love. You know, I think that's a great move for them. Now that he's not on the Astros anymore, I could say that I love him. You go out and get Lucas Giolito. I like that a lot. I think their team's going to be good. I think they make the playoffs. Yellow highlighter means I think they make the playoffs. So I think they're a wild card team. The Blue Jays third. I almost had the Blue Jays in the playoffs. Such a strange team. They went out and they made some moves. They got Hoffman. I like him in the bullpen. Santander. They needed some hitting, right? They were below league average last year in slugging, runs scored, home runs. Now, I just want to tell you guys, I started doing a good amount of research on this. American League East, I realized I'm spending way too much time on this. So this is the division I did the most research about. Bo Bichette missed half the year last year with injury, had a down year. He's going to have a huge break. He's going to have a huge bounce back season. I think that goes without being said. Vlad Jr., contract year, he's going to mash. That goes without being said. Alejandro Kirk, they just extended him. He's going to mash. That goes without being said. I worry about their pitching, but I think they'll be competitive, and I think that they'll be good. I think they missed the playoffs just a little bit. I think this division is going to be so tough that you're going to have some really good teams that might be better than the record shows just because they beat up on each other. I have the Yankees at fourth. I think it's going to be a bad year for the Yanks. And I have a soft spot for the Yanks. I love Aaron Judge. Here's the thing. I don't like when teams go into the season getting kind of last second fucked by injuries. Losing Garrett Cole for the whole year right before the season starts. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. Losing Soto. Brutal. Bellinger's going to be good there. Defensively, they'll be way better this year than they were last year. But man, I worry about them. I do. Their lineup just, to me, you're really relying on a lot of things. You know, Dominguez could be good, right? They've got some interesting young guys. Whenever people doubt the Rays is usually when they do their best work. So I do have the Rays fifth. And keep in mind, I think this is going to be a really tough division. So I'm not saying the Rays are going to be shit. I actually thought, I tinkered with all of these teams making the playoffs at some point. Because I do think the Rays, they're the Rays. Aura check, right? Vibes, aura check. They're playing in a single A stadium for the whole season, right? I'm sorry. That hurts them, in my opinion. That hurts them. So that's why they're at the bottom. Is it fair? No. But it's the way that it is. So that's what I have the East looking like. Orioles win, Red Sox second, make the playoffs. Let's get to the Central. Central's tough. I had a hard time. And I kind of went out there with the pick to win the division. This team, I like their top end of their rotation quite a bit. I think it's very strong. I think their back end of their bullpen is fucking disgusting. And they've got a lot of bounce back candidates in their lineup. They've got some sneaky MVP candidates in their lineup if they can stay healthy in an American League where MVP could be kind of open, right? I have the Minnesota Twins winning the division. They were really embarrassing last year. This is just a pure vibe thing for me. There's something about the Royals where I look at them and I don't know. Last year just felt like a fever dream. Kind of the same thing for the end of the season with the Tigers. Not that I don't think those teams will be good. I have the Royals finishing second and making the playoffs. Bobby Witt is a monster. You abandoned the all caps. Oh, whoops. I didn't realize I did that. But I like the top end of the Twins rotation. And I think their bullpen's going to be monstrous. So I think they're going to be a good team. And I'm a believer in them. Baseball always has at least one or two teams that are like, holy fuck, they made the playoffs every year. And I think that could be the Twins this year. The Royals, I think, will be good. Their lineup isn't the best, I don't think. But Bobby Witt's going to put up, 9, 10, 10 and a half WAR. They've got a good rotation if they're healthy. Like, they'll be a good team. I don't think they're ready yet. I don't think they're ready for the next step. You called yourself a casual, but these are pretty good takes. I need you to understand, I used to be so in on baseball. I know all the talking points. I know what to look for when you're talking about good teams. Football, I'm a casual. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Baseball, I know what I'm saying. I just haven't followed in so long that I don't know some of the players and some of the prospects as well as I used to. I have the Guardians missing the playoffs, finishing third in the division. I feel like them losing Josh Naylor is going to hurt quite a bit, huh? Like, where are they hoping to get the power? 30 home runs. 30 home runs is a lot. I know they brought in Carlos Santana, who I can't believe is still fucking going. I mean, how old is Carlos Santana? Carlos Santana's just been getting it done for what feels like 20 years. Our former farmhand, Cole Reagans, is not a bad bet for Cy Young. I thought about him. Oh, you have to do Carlos Santana baseball because the guitar player pops up. Carlos Santana is almost 40 years old. 39. How about that? Good for him. Crazy career. 15 years. Back in Cleveland where it all started. So that's fun. But, Bieber's out to start the season. I worry about their rotation. They got a nasty back end of the bullpen. With Clase, former Rangers farmhand as well. Wow, Carlos Santana won Gold Glove, 38 years old. Former Rangers farmhand, traded for Corey Kluber. That's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow right there. That was a tough one. It's shades of Anthony Davis on the Mavs, right? But anyways, Jose Ramirez is incredible. One of the best players on the planet. And he's going to do his thing. They've got, what's his name? How do you pronounce it? Campiano? Camarza? What is it? He threw a no-hitter against the Rangers, too, in 2021. Kluber, yeah, that's true. Kluber did do that. How many pitches did he end up throwing? Wasn't it like 2 innings? How many? Just hilarious. Absolutely hilarious that happened. Travis Bazzana. Who the fuck was I thinking of? Travis Bazzana could mash this year. But I do kind of worry about their lineup. So I have them third. I have the Tigers finishing fourth. Fever Dream made the playoffs last year. Their rotation is going to be nasty. The top of the rotation, at least. Scooble. They brought Flaherty back. Like, that's a good 1-2. That's a great 1-2 punch. Is that in contention for the best 1-2 punch in the league? It has to be, right? Just off the top of my head. I mean, that's got to be in contention for one of the best 1-2 punches in the entire MLB. I kind of thought the Tigers would spend a little bit more in the offseason, right? Bregman, everyone talked about Bregman for them. That would have been really nice, in my opinion. But I do like their team. I think the Tigers could absolutely make the playoffs. All 4 of these teams are tough. Then you have the shitty-ass White Sox, which goes without saying they're shit, right? So God bless them, but they're terrible. The White Sox did something similar to what I said earlier a couple years ago, didn't they? Where they just randomly spent a bunch of money. And I was like, oh, shit, the White Sox. Dodgers have a good 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could probably go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 punch for the Dodgers. White Sox are a farm system for other teams. I mean, they'll be better than last year. They won't be the worst team of all time, surely. But Gallen, Burns, Kelly for Snakes is elite. That's pretty good, too. Skubal, you might be getting the best pitcher in the American League. And Flaherty's fucking nasty, too. Luis Robert getting traded this year? Lou Bob. All right, American League West. Here we go. We've got the Rangers winning it. I do think, right, if we just look at it from an outsider's perspective, just look at it, I do think they're the best team in the West pretty comfortably, right? Their lineup is disgusting. It was very disappointing last year, a lot of different things. You go and you look at Adolis Garcia's numbers, just fall off of a cliff. And Adolis has had an incredible spring. I think you could chalk up a lot of it because I was looking at it and I was like, okay, there's a couple different things here that are telling me all I need to know about Adolis' season last year, right? Like, look at these. Look at the Baseball Savant page. It's terrible. You know, the exit velo, the barrel percentage, hard hit percentage, all high, right? But this is a guy was one of the better defenders in all of baseball for a while. Look at the fielding. Look at the range. Look at the sprint speed. And when we compare that to years past for him, I think you start to paint the picture for yourself that injuries just kind of derailed the season for Adolis Garcia last year. Like 2021, one of the best defensive outfielders in the game, right? 2022, again, not one of the best anymore, but still a great defensive outfielder. 2023, one of the best defensive outfielders in the game. I think you could chalk up a lot of what happened last year at Adolis Garcia to injuries. And he's had a great spring training. I think Wyatt Langford will be a top, 5 player in the American League, potentially. I believe in that breakout for him. He's been incredible. Spring every fucking time he hits the ball. Every time the ball leaves Wyatt Langford's bat, it sounds like a nuke has exploded. Simeon is due for a bounce back year as well. Josh Young, hopefully he stays healthy. And Berger's going to mash in this lineup. Jock Peterson is going to mash in this lineup. And then you bring in Higashioka to platoon with Jonah Heim. And we know Corey Seager, if he's healthy, he's an MVP candidate every single year. That goes without being said. And then you have DeGrom, if he's healthy. He's a lot of people's Cy Young pick if he's healthy. You've got DeGrom. You've got Eovaldi. We know what Eovaldi's going to give you on a night in, night out basis. And then can we get Kumar or Leiter to have a good season? One of those two would help out tremendously. And hopefully Evan Carter figures out whatever the fuck he's got to figure out in AAA and comes back in as a contributor. Worry about the bullpen a little tiny bit. The bullpen is weird in baseball. It is. You never really know. And Kumar had a great close to spring training over the last week or two. I'm pretty fucking pumped about him. That curveball is just disgusting. Those guys stay healthy and give you 130, 40, 140, 50 innings. I feel pretty good about them. I think they got some guys in the bullpen that have good stuff. I think the Rangers will be incredible this year. I think they're the best team in the American League. All right, next, I do have the Seattle Mariners finishing second. Rotation from hell. It's just absolutely disgusting. Good luck scoring runs on this team. And I do think they'll get more offense this year. That's really it. They'll have a full season of Randy Arozarena, who, how can you not love him, huh? After that Babe Ruth type performance in the 2020 playoffs. You just got to love them. They can't be any worse hitting. That is true. There's some crazy stats out there about them. Like their numbers when they score 3 runs or some shit. Like an incredibly low bar. They're pretty much unbeatable when they score 3 or 4 runs. The problem is getting there. The problem is getting there, of course. But Julio Rodriguez, this could be the year. This could be the year. What does Julio Rodriguez baseball savant page say? He's a historically he's a very slow starter, isn't he? Maybe we get a full year from J-Rod. I mean, all of this looks great. Bat speed in the 96th percentile. Mariners rotation due for bad injury luck. Their rotation's so deep though that even if one of those guys goes down, you still feel okay. And they've got a great bullpen as well. Did you see what LeBron said about the Luka trade? Is it worth my time? LeBron, Adam Silver in the NBA made the trade, confirmed. What did LeBron say? So anyways, Houston Astros I have finishing third and missing the playoffs. I've seen a lot of people be like, yeah, the Astros will still be good. I think this is the classic. This team has historically been really good. I'm scared to say that it might be over for them. We see this from time to time. I'm scared to be, I don't want to be wrong and say that it's over for this team and it not be over. I just don't know with this one. I mean, I feel like they've just lost so much in recent years. You know, they've lost so much in recent years. Does that make sense? That it's kind of difficult. And I hate them as well. So factor that into the equation. I have the Astros finishing third. I have Sacramento finishing fourth. Look, man, you guys want to know who my guy this year is? I'm going to watch the team probably from afar, admittedly, but I'll keep up with. I watched him. I'm familiar with his game last year, his second half last year. His second half last year, and his TikTok edits are some of the best. So when it comes to aura, we might be leading the charge here. This is my guy, Lawrence Butler. I'm all in. I'm all in on Lawrence Butler. Some of the coolest TikTok edits. A beautiful lefty swing. I love him. What was that? The 3 home run game against Cincinnati last year? I love him. I'm putting my flag on the Lawrence Butler hill. And guys, if you're a baseball fan and for some reason this is the first you've seen me, just know, guys, whenever I start to, plant my flag on a guy's hill, he ends up becoming a monster. Usually that's how it goes, right? Lawrence Butler could be the SGA of MLB. He's got aura. He does have aura. And that's what baseball needs. They need guys with aura. Love him. That's why the Mariners, like Julio Rodriguez has a ton of aura. Boom, boost. Do the Rangers have an aura guy? Wyatt Langford's got some aura. Adolis has, of course. Adolis has insane aura. Like, Adolis walks up to the plate in the postseason, and you just look at his aura, he's like, oh, this guy's going to fucking hit 12 home runs this postseason, isn't he? Like, he just has that about him. Right? But Wyatt Langford's got aura. For sure. What did he tell? He told the catcher a couple days ago that was a fucking ball. I love him. He's got a lot of dog in him. Wyatt Langford is my guy. Like, there's no doubt about it. Wyatt Langford's my guy. He can't miss. Seager has this sort of quiet, I know I'm incredible aura that I like as well, right? It's the quiet sort of, look, I know I'm a motherfucker. Like, I don't need to be doing any extra shit. You know what I've got going on. I like that quite a bit about a player. Siegs has Cole's aura. And I have the Angels finishing last. Somebody go trade for Mike Trout, please. That's it. So, like, Seager has like I'm just kind of quietly go about my business. But whenever I do pop off, it's like, oh, shit, Seager's feeling it. How's the top of the rotation look like for the Rangers? I mean, you're getting from Nathan Eovaldi. Can we get 130, 140 innings from DeGrom? That's what you got to ask yourself. Seager at the Kawhi aura. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good comparison. Can you get 130, 140 innings out of DeGrom? If so, he might win the Cy Young, and you're cruising. If no, well, we can't say we're surprised. Can one of the young guys pan out for you and be healthy? MVP, I have Bobby Witt Jr. winning it. I just think he'll be the best player in the league this year. And baseball, in case you don't know for sure, like maybe you don't follow baseball much. Baseball is much different than basketball. Your team does not need to be good to win MVP. Like it goes to the best player. It does not matter what your record is whatsoever. So I have Bobby Witt Jr. winning the MVP this year. I have Logan Gilbert winning Cy Young. I think he's going to have a great year. And I have Kumar Rocker winning Rookie of the Year. Come on, baby. I think he's going to be great. I do. Rookie of the Year is like next to impossible to predict. Best player should always be MVP. So, I mean, basketball is different, though, where it's like if you have the best player on your team, you're going to be really good. 8K in 4 innings yesterday. Woo! $98. Goodbye. That nasty-ass curveball. 97 up in the zone paired with that curveball. Yeah, good fucking luck, buddy. Three walks, three hits in 4 innings, but 8 strikeouts. I mean, he's nasty as hell. I feel like he'll be one of those guys that gets better over the course of the season by a lot. And you're kind of looking at, like, it's August 24th, and you're like, have you guys seen Kumar's stats over the last 2 months? Have you guys seen Kumar's last 10 starts? National League. So I did no research on the National League. This is all vibes. All vibes, okay? All vibes. NL East, I got the Phillies winning. The East seems like it's going to be a bloodbath, huh? I think the Phillies are going to be great. And I think the Braves are also going to be great. Like, those two teams feel interchangeable to me. Mid-90s and wins seem on the table for both of those teams. The Braves feel like a massive, major bounce-back candidate, right? With Acuna hopefully being... when's Acuna scheduled to... What's his story? When are they expecting him back? He tore his ACL at the end of last May, and he's expected to be back in the early regular season. So he should be back somewhat soonish. But they got Jurickson Profar. Hey, man. Former number 1 overall prospect, Jurickson Profar, mind you. Okay. Mets starting rotation is questionable. I have the Mets third and making the playoffs. So I think the NL East sends 3 teams to the postseason. I love the Mets, and I'm going to root for them. There's something that for some reason they've always had a place in my heart. I don't know why it is. Both New York teams, big market bias, I guess. I like the Mets. I love Juan Soto. Juan Soto is my favorite player in Major League Baseball, not on the Texas Rangers. So I love him. The lineup is nasty, and I love Lindor too. I love this Mets team, and I want them to be great. I love Francisco Lindor. I love Juan Soto. Let's lock it in. Let's go. Let's win the whole fucking thing. Big Meat Pete. Like, how can you not love Pete Alonso, right? Kind of, what was the contract that he signed? It was like a weird kind of, he could be a free agent again this year, right? $19-year-olds who started shortstop in Frisco: Elvis Andrus, Jurickson Profar, Sebastian Walcott. I'm all in on Walcott. 2 years, $50 million, multi-year with opt-outs. Yeah, so I think he's going to have a big season again just because, you know, what, he sort of has to. So what's their... They lost some guys. They lost some pitchers, right? What's their rotation going to look like would be my question. That's kind of the concern, right? They got Clay Holmes starting on opening day. So do you like baseball more than football from before? Yeah. Clay Holmes, mind you, hasn't started a game since 2018, and he's starting opening day. Just worried that our pitching is kind of thin. Had a great spring training. You got Kodai Senga. And then, of course, you've got Edwin Diaz in the back of the pen, throwing fucking gas. I like their team. Nationals finishing 4th. I think they'll be pretty good. He's always hurt. He fell off. Edwin Diaz. There was a point in time when, like, and the Mets, and this is also why I love the Mets, their broadcast is 10 out of 10. Their broadcast is 10 out of 10. They get it right. If I were a network ahead of a network, I would tell everybody on my staff, watch a Mets game. This is how I want our broadcast to look. They just get it. They have they show Edwin Diaz entering the game. They got the trumpet song playing. The light show's going on. It's like, oh shit. Like, oh shit, here they come. And they also do the great thing where they'll have Edwin Diaz looking at, and they've got like the 50-50 cam where it's like Edwin Diaz is about 50% opacity and you see the batter. It's just like peak drama. They get it. They just get it and they understand it. So shout out to them, really. Maybe I'll move them up to 1, and then the Marlins finishing last. You guys want to know, where I'm at? And this is like 2000s level shit, right? When I was like 12 and in love with baseball. Whenever I first did this, I had the Florida Marlins written down. When did they change to Miami? I mean, that was like in the early 2010s, 2012. I wrote it down and I was like, it's Miami, right? I was like, it's surely Miami. But Florida still kind of rolls off the tongue better, in my opinion. Central. This is a tough one right here, man. And this was one of my big... This was one of my big sort of out there. This was my out there opinion. Miami has way better beaches than Los Angeles. Oh, dude. Florida's beaches shit all over California's beaches. That's not up for debate. This was a toughie. This was my sort of out there prediction. I have the Cincinnati Reds winning the Central. I kind of think this is their year. I've been a believer in them for a while. Weirdly enough, I have a friend who's like a diehard Reds fan. Just kind of one of those weird things. I do really like this team. Ellie De La Cruz is an MVP candidate. You really didn't do research on the NL? Hold on. Matt McClain, who missed the entire season last year, in just 89 games in his rookie year in 2023. 89 games. How about a 127 OPS plus? How about a 3.6 win above replacement? Something to think about. Playing shortstop and second base. They are already so hurt. Teams get hurt. I'm bought in on the Reds. Steer and Stevenson out. I'm bought in on the Reds. With the Cubs finishing second and the Brewers finishing third. The Reds are my Hornets. That's true. The Reds are my Hornets. Central divisions are always a crapshoot. With the Pirates 4th and Cardinals 5th. The Brewers do find a way. That was the one. They're just a machine. They're kind of a machine, right? So it feels kind of risky leaving them out the mix entirely. Chicago, they made huge moves, right? I mean, going and getting Kyle Tucker's, that's a big boy move right there. And I really do respect that. I just love when teams go for it. I love it. It's great. I'm a huge fan. I think they'll be good. I think they'll be competitive. Let me have my cards hope almost as depressing as the Mavs. So from what I could gather from my brief research about this is I don't think this division will be terrible. Like I don't think there's going to be a terrible team in this division. Right? Even the Pirates have a disgusting pitching staff, but they won't be able to score runs. But the Cardinals have a lot of bounce back potential from a lot of guys. Cardinals will be terrible. If there's any team that would be terrible, I feel like it would be the Cardinals. Cardinals going to win maybe 70. All right. And then in the West, does it really fucking matter? Not really. Dodgers already 2-0. Oh, wait. I meant to say this about the Cubs. And this might sound stupid. And maybe this is my basketball brain kicking in here. You guys tell me if this sounds stupid. So the Cubs started their season in Japan. Tomorrow night, they go to Arizona to take on the Diamondbacks, who are going to be a really good team this year. They play them like the first real series of the season. Is there a psychological you look up and you're 0-4 to start the season? Like, let's say Corbin Burns pushes tomorrow, you lose that game. Like, if you start the season 0-4, like maybe you're 1-4, 5 games into the season. I don't know. I feel like that's such a weird, wonky start. Not that it matters. Baseball's so long, but, just kind of one of those things. Oh, Burns isn't pitching this series, but point still stands. Wait, why the fuck is Corbin Burns not starting opening day? So when did that become a thing? Like back in my day, you just put your best pitcher started opening day. Like, why is Burns not pitching tomorrow night? Gallen, yeah, Gallen's a monster, but wait, you guys think Gallen's better than Burns? Maybe. What the hell is this text I just got? The Browns are trying to trade for Dak Prescott. It's all about matchups now, analytics. Okay, fine. My point still stands. All right, NL West, Los Angeles Dodgers, Arizona Diamondbacks finishing second and making the playoffs. They're kind of similar to the Rangers a bit. The Diamondbacks are. Both teams in the World Series in 2023. Both teams had World Series hangover last year. Both teams are going to absolutely destroy baseballs. Right? You've got your super duper megastar Corbin Carroll. Rangers have Corey Seager, different positions, but the point still stands. And just top to bottom in the lineup, your lineup's disgusting. Yeah, the Diamondbacks did have the best offense last year. The Rangers were a below average offensive team. Like, actually a bad offensive team last year. Yeah, Monty's getting Tommy John. That one sucks. Their top end of the rotation is pretty nasty. They got Justin Martinez in the back end of the bullpen, who just throws the most disgusting splitter I've ever fucking seen. I can't believe he throws that pitch. Honestly, knew next to nothing about him until semi-recently, and I cannot believe how disgusting. Cannot believe how disgusting that pitch is. So I think the Diamondbacks make it. I have the Giants finishing third. I kind of like their team. I was looking at it. I kind of like what they've got going on. It feels like they're moving in the right direction. I just think this division is going to be so hard that I don't know if they'll have enough. But I do sort of like it. The Padres are a weird spot for me where, I don't like when we're going into a season. And this is kind of contradicting myself a little bit. But because I said I like the Blue Jays, and they're kind of in a similar boat. I don't love like Dylan Cease could be traded type of talk heading into a season. And their roster is good. Their roster is good, and they should still be good. But I don't like we're kind of we're trying to save some money. Like, I don't like that type of talk heading into a season whatsoever. Just from a vibes perspective. That's all. They should still be great, though. Just think this is going to be such a tough division right here. And the Rockies, I don't know. The Rockies are bad, and they're going to lose a lot of games. But I feel like I looked at their roster, and I looked at some of their numbers and stuff. They're negotiating a Dak Prescott trade as we speak. Says who? Says who? Rockies are fundamentally fucked. Well, they've got that pitching prospect, Chase Dolander. That's his name. He seems to be the guy. From what I heard somebody talking about him, and it was like, if this guy doesn't pan out, there might never be a pitcher for the Rockies. Like, if this guy doesn't pan out. The Coors Field factor, yep. MVP Shohei Ohtani. At this point, especially if Shohei pitches this year, which sounds like a possibility maybe, if Shohei doesn't win the MVP, you're basically betting on him getting injured. Especially if he pitches. Like, at this point in time, you're just betting on him getting injured if you're not saying that he's winning the MVP. Cy Young, I'm going Paul Skeens. Guy's fucking nasty. Disgusting. Paul Skeens, Cy Young. And my rookie of the year, Roki Sasaki. Way to go. And I've got the Dodgers beating the Rangers in the World Series in 6 games. Let's have a great year, man. I know, guys. I know. I just how is anyone beating the Dodgers? We're reaching like Golden State Warriors territory here, which is hard to reach in baseball because baseball is really random and a lot of things can happen. Would love to be wrong, but I'm here. I'm on board. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to rock in regards to this Rangers season. I think they're going to be great. I do. And another thing as well, you know, the Rangers. They've proven they'll be aggressive at the trade deadline. That's the thing I love about baseball, too, is teams, when they're good, they're ready to fucking go at the deadline, and they'll make moves. And it doesn't really matter who. That's what I like about baseball, is it's just like, you know, the Orioles are like, fuck it, we'll go get Corbin Burns. They probably should have spent a little bit more. The Orioles should have. But, you know, we'll go get Corbin Burns. Is Pat Mahomes a Rangers fan? No, he, like, owns part of the Royals, doesn't he? Did they trade Dak? What are you guys talking about in here? Is this like really happening? Don't be a person that falls for the Browns Dak rumors in a serious way. Bruce Drennan. Who the hell is that? Bruce Drennan has 1.9 thousand followers on Twitter. The Browns are negotiating as we speak with the Dallas Cowboys for a trade with Dak Prescott. All right, sure. Oh, my God. Cowboys drafting Shador second overall would just be sickening. Absolutely sickening. All right. Wow, there actually was a Schefter bomb. Those are my baseball predictions. Hey, baseball, anybody watching this who's a baseball fan, please let me know where I went wrong. I'm open. I'm all ears. I'm all ears. Please let me know what I'm missing. I am all ears. All ears.